38-0. Texas leads at halftime, and we told you at a halftime, Todd Graham still had his team down on the sideline, and he was talking to them. Here's what he had to say.
With us, find out what your character's about now. I want you seeing you pulling together. Forget about what the score is. Let's go in, let's regroup, let's pick each other up, let's stay positive. Got it? You work too hard. Go all the way in one game. Got it? Let's stay positive. I want to see your eyes bright and come out and compete. Got it? Let's go. Here we go, man. Let's go.
Todd Graham, and that was at the end of the first half, and he kept his team right out there on the field and formed that big circle. I like that kind of stuff, Ed, and we know that he is a Mr. Positive fellow. I mean, that's all there is to it. As this kickoff is not going to be returned, and they will be scrimmaging from their own 20-yard line. He is the type of guy that has to have positive people around him as well, and that to me is what he was saying to his team.
Well, the key, I thought, was we can't lose everything we've worked for in one game.
Yeah.
Listen, Texas lost to Ohio State last weekend. They're embarrassed about it. This is still one of the best teams in the country, talent-wise. So you kind of had a feeling they may come out and roll. And they can't lose what they've worked for. They are such a better team than they were at this point last year. It may not show on the scoreboard right now, but I really enjoy what Todd said to his team. Don't lose everything we've worked for in just this one game. Keep positive and fight through the second half.
Well, they start off on offense, and let's see what they are going to be able to come up with here. Armstrong continues to go at quarterback, and with the handoff, hit immediately is the running back, Clinton Smith. And let's go down to the sideline and check in with Jerry Punch. Jerry?
Well, Ron, after you saw Coach Graham talk to his team, he walked off, and I visited with him heading off the field. He said, you know, I'm very frustrated. It's the poorest first half we've played all year long. He said, missed assignments, missed alignments. He said, we've got to tackle better. We did not tackle well in the first half. We've got to somehow figure out a way to move the football offensively in the second half.
Pass too hard, and it came off the fingertips of the intended receiver, Fentress. Very dangerous situation, not intercepted. Here are the numbers.
10 yards per play for Texas. That's the first down every time they run an offensive play, essentially. And this 3-3-5 defense that Rice runs, the one concern they had coming in is, will Texas run right at us? The answer is yes, they will, and they've done it very well.
Armstrong retreats. Here comes pressure. Throws the pass, and that is complete at the 20-yard line. Again, it is Fentress. And every time I watch this kid, I know he's fresh out of high school. He was taught well in high school. As he looks more mature than just a freshman.
You know, I think that's the one thing, not just in Texas, but all across the country in high school football, that a lot of high school coaches have spent a lot of time and effort learning the spread offense, learning the passing game. And I think a lot of these young men come into college now, much different than when I came in to college back in the late 80s. They understand the passing game a lot more, Ron. And it's places like Carroll High School that work so hard on it.
He caught the ball, went out of bounds on his own, was first to touch the ball. The penalty is loss of down, fourth down.
You know, this is 2 weeks in a row that's happened to Rice.
Right.
We were watching the UCLA film, and they were called for illegal touching, loss of downs, and the penalty. And it's on this play right here, I couldn't tell that he went out on his own. I know against UCLA the kid didn't. He got pushed out of bounds, came back in, and they still called it illegal touching.
And that's different in the NFL. NFL, no matter how you go out of bounds, you can't come in and be the first to touch the ball. In college, you can touch it first if you were pushed out and reestablish yourself back in bounds.
Here's Ross. Flag goes down. It's a legal block in the back. Ross still looking for a spot to run, and he's got a wall, and Ross is going to take it the distance here with a pair, but it's all going to come back because of that flag. Right now he is terribly excited over his second touchdown. This one's not going to count. 49 on the kick, 69 on the return.
They're getting Brandon Foster for a block in the back right at the start of the return. And boy, it was awfully close. From this angle, it looked like Foster may have gotten his head in front of the man who was blocking.
Illegal block in the back, 28 Texas. Penalties 10 yards from the spot of the foul, first down.
Yeah, good call. If Foster would have been able to get his head in front of Chad Price, they may not have called that, but because his head was behind, good call by the official.
Well, Mike Tollison, who coaches the special teams, has got to be pleased with everything else on that play anyway. We'll take a break. 38-0. Texas leads. This is the worst starting position that Texas has had all night. To show you how good their fortunes have been, this is the 23-yard line. They make the run, pressure up the middle, and the first sack of the night for the Rice Owls. And it is Deitrick Davis who comes charging through to make the hit.
And this is exactly why they put Deitrick Davis in there. Nice job. He's working a game with the nose guard, Jawan Cooper, and comes right around and gets a nice shot. And Davis, who was a defensive end, was put in that Mike linebacker position for his size.
Just 2 weeks ago, they made the move on him and played linebacker, also some running back in high school, but has a good motor, as you could see right there.
Nice little, and that's one thing you can do in the three-man, the 3-3-5, is work little stunts with your nose guard and your middle linebacker.
Big opening on the running play. Young, 25, 30, 35. He's off to the races. One man, and he stepped out of bounds just across midfield. Chad Price bumped him out after a 36-yard gain on that running play.
And one of the guys they've been running behind tonight, Tony Hills, the left tackle. Interesting story, was a big-time tight end prospect learning how to be an offensive tackle. He just rode his man, George Chukwu, right out of the frame. And Selvin Young looks like he lost about 16 pounds, Ron, coming into the season, and he looks awfully quick.
You know, an interesting story on Tony Hills. Then all of a sudden there was total despair because they were afraid that he would not even be able to play because of a knee problem. They cured that, took care of it, then moved him inside, and he's found a home at tackle. As Young is going to be hit and knocked down for a loss. This time, Sendejo. Jared Punch, let's check in with you down on the sideline.
Ron, you mentioned Tony Hills. He is a medical miracle. You mentioned he was injured in a high school playoff game back in December of 2002, had nerve damage to his leg. He took his official visit to Texas in a wheelchair. And Mack Brown said, no matter whether you play a single down, we will honor our commitment to you and our scholarship. But young man, work hard and come back. A number of different surgeries. Houston Rockets orthopedist Dr. Bruce Mosley did decompression. And he is the first of 100 patients to come back completely. The young man, what a great story. It is a medical miracle. His mom says it is simply prayer. That's what did it.
Well, a lot of people wouldn't argue with that.
He flinched on that one, so his mom's at home cursing him now.
Well, he's getting more airtime.
Yeah, exactly.
The kid's smarter than you're giving him credit for.
1-yard penalty, still second down.
You know, the interesting thing, and one of the things that Mack Brown has done his entire career as a head coach, not just at Texas, but a lot of guys get scholarship offers, and then they might get hurt in an all-star game or their last game of their senior year, and schools just automatically pull their scholarship. And Mack Brown has never done that. And he has built such a trust with the high school coaches in Texas by doing that. Because if they know they send one of their young men to Mack Brown, he's going to look after them, whether they end up being a star for him or not.
Well, now Jamal Charles has checked back into the ballgame at tailback, replacing Selvin Young. And they throw it to him this time. Got him in space. Gets by one, will not get by the second. Tackled at the 50. Well, separation. So Charles goes to the sideline. Selvin Young will check back in. It's a third down. At about 12 for the first down. They need to take it down to the Rice 38-yard line. Pressure off the corner, and he's going to be sacked again. This time it is Courtney Gordon who comes through, a senior out of Gladewater.
McCoy's hurt. Colt McCoy looks like he got hurt on that one, Ron. Coming right off the edge. Hills opens the gate. He turns and runs instead of sliding out there square. And Courtney Gordon, who played really well against UCLA, does a nice job running through and slams McCoy to the turf.
This is the first punt of the night by Texas. Balco is the deep man. Greg Johnson, who does the place kicking as well, the left footer, will handle the punting chore. And here's the boot. Driving spiral. Balco all the way back to the 10-yard line, hit immediately on the coverage, and is going to be pushed backwards. That is a great kick and even greater coverage. Michael Griffin on the stop, 50 on the kick, -1 on the return. We'll be right back. So we are back 38-0 as we take a look at the Rice sideline. Under 10 minutes to play, third quarter. Armstrong, quick throw out in the corner, got the pass complete on the edge, and the hit is made immediately on number 81, Jared Dillard. Terrell Brown is the man who was out there to make the tackle.
Things have not been pretty today for Rice offensively, but you've got to give him a pass. Chase Clement right there, number 16, with the backwards baseball cap on, still fighting that thumb. He's the guy who would be playing. Joel Armstrong was a wide receiver up until 2 weeks ago.
Second down and about 5 yards to go. They need to take it out to the 21-yard line. Armstrong this time under center. Boy, he had white shirts all in front of him, so he's going to run it. And this is a nice job of turning what would have been a negative into a positive. Killebrew will make the stop. I'm not so sure if he had tried to throw the ball with those two people there, someone would have either tipped the ball or would just have intercepted it.
And this is the thing that Armstrong brings to this position. We saw it last week against UCLA. UCLA got a lot of pressure, and he was able to run out of it. Been a little bit different for him tonight.
That was Derry and also Arakpo coming in with the pressure.
Well, that was the thing Major Applewhite was telling us in the meeting. He said, you know, so much has been made about Roderick Wright and Larry Dibbles leaving. He was around when Arakpo was just a pup, and he said, no, these guys replacing him are pretty good, too.
And let's go down to the sideline. McCoy was being checked over, Doc, on the sideline by the trainer. So what do you got for us?
Well, Ron, the Longhorn faithful can breathe easy because I just heard from Kenny Boyd, the head trainer for Texas, that Cole just got the wind knocked out of him. He's up and around, as you see on the sideline there. When he rolled over and went to the ground and went slam to the ground right there, he got the wind knocked out, came back, couldn't catch his breath, but now he is up and okay, should be back in the ballgame.
Okay. Third down and short. Did not pick up the first down. Only needs about a foot. You can see the yellow line. It is very close. Texas shifting on defense, and now they're pointing at an offensive lineman. Then the flag came from the sideline. So let's.
89 on the offense. 5-yard penalty. Still third down.
Chance Talbert, the tight end to that side. We've had a bunch of tight ends who can't stay still before the snap count tonight. Here. It was the shift that got him. Texas has been doing that quite a bit tonight. They start in one defensive front, and then they get a call and shift, and that's what made Talbot jump.
Third down, and actually about 5.5. A short 6, we'll call it. Pressure up the middle. Ball is thrown incomplete. Balco could not get around and make the reception because Brian Arakpo has just been an unstoppable force in the second half.
And he's a guy that Gene Chizik has really challenged. He's so physically gifted. And he says sometimes they don't want Gene Chizik does not want his defensive linemen to be block swallowers, just guys who grab blockers and don't let them up to the second level. He wants them to be big and active, and he's really challenged Arakpo.
How many times do you see, though? He played here in Houston in high school. How many times do you see a kid come back home?
Absolutely.
And he's turned on by all the friends that are there. Bearcats is called for and made at the 47 by Aaron Ross. That's a punt of 38 yards, so let's take a timeout. When we come back, can the Longhorns add more points? Right now, it's 30 as far as the individual running backs and what they've done.
They've been more terrestrial than through the air, and Selvin Young is creeping towards his career high, 102 yards against North Texas 3 years ago.
So they scrimmage from their own 47-yard line. Big opening. Jamal Charles, and he just glides, and he will be pushed out of bounds at around the 38-yard line. And that is a 15 on that carry.
Well, Selvin Young met with him for a good while on Thursday. Been through so much. Considered actually going to the NFL. His roommate Vince Young talked him out of it. Said, come back and prove who you are at the University of Texas before you leave. And, of course, Jamal Charles, who last year as a freshman burst onto the scene and then battled an ankle injury. A lot of people didn't know that he was really struggling with that ankle through last year. Was still the Big 12 freshman offensive player of the year, but boy, He's gotten even faster, Ron.
He's got 109 on 8 carries and a touchdown. And his time in 100 meters is 10.12. McCoy. Deep over the middle. Jordan, Shipley, touchdown. And there was a flag down back at the 47-yard line, the line of scrimmage.
I believe it is going to be a personal foul again.
Yeah, that's what he's signaling to the Texas bench.
That was a nice throw. Colt McCoy was under pressure, had to lean back a little bit away from it, and still hit Shipley on the post perfectly. Very nice throw by a young quarterback.
A personal foul roughing the passer, blow to the helmet of the quarterback. Penalty will be assessed on the kickoff.
Well, Greg Davis said everybody talks about the intangibles of Colt McCoy because he's a leader and a young guy. Oh, come on, don't throw that flag. That was not a penalty on William Wood. Let the play continue. The young man made a great throw.
So the extra point attempt at the 7:32 mark. Trying to make it 45-0. And Johnson does. Kick is up and it is through. So Shipley, a 38-yard TD reception. And as I said, he's been battling for 2 years. Had a knee injury both seasons. Has had to undergo surgery. So that's the reason for smiles abounding on the far sideline. Not only by him, but also his teammates. They're happy for him. Dr. Jerry Punch, what do you got for us?
Well, Ron, Colt McCoy is from the tiny West Texas outpost town of Tuscola, which is 20 miles south of Abilene. And the year-round population in Tuscola is 714. Now, the mayor runs the local funeral parlor. There's a bank, a florist, an antique shop, a church, a volunteer fire department, and American Legion post, which claims they have the best little bingo game in the entire country. All sequestered around a single blinking yellow light along State Highway 83. So it is a long journey, as you saw, from the tiny town of Tuscola all the way to Austin, Texas, and live national television college football.
Okay, Jerry, don't forget, now, he went to Jim Ned High School. That's a 2A school in the state of Texas. 5A is the largest. 2 straight years, he was the offensive player of the year in 2A. That kick is going to go all the way up into the stand. Speaking of hitting it out of the park, let's go to always a love fest. A lot of inside stuff there. Always a good ball game, though, really. First down for Rice as they scrimmage from the 20-yard line. Clinton Smith again is the lone setback, senior out of Cedar Park. One of only 3 seniors on this Rice offense. And the quarterback's going to keep it. Armstrong's got a big opening. Has 5, 10, counted off at 15, and he's finally going to be tackled up around the 39-yard line, and a late flag comes in. We got a face mask. Michael Griffin is the man who made the tackle. This is going to be the longest gainer.
Face mask, number 27 on the defense. The 15-yard penalty added to the end of the run. First down.
That's a 19-yard run. Very, very nice. And the longest gainer for them on the night.
And this is what Armstrong can bring to this offense. We heard the report at the beginning of the game from Doc Punch that Chase Clement may not be able to play next week against Florida State. And that's an incidental face mask, not a personal foul. That should have been a 5-yarder, not a 15-yarder.
Michael Griffin showed that he could really run. He made up ground in a quick hurry there to come up and latch on to the ball carrier. So across midfield for the first time of the afternoon as they scrimmage from the Texas 46. And this running play is going to go for a couple of yards to around the 44. Roy Miller will step up to make the tackle for the Horns. And for people sitting at home and the people in the stands say, you know, why do you do? Because you have to establish a running game somehow. Well, whether it's the quarterback keeper or you turn and hand it off to the running back.
Well, the coaches have to. And we listened in to Todd Grant when he talked to his players. They said, act like it's tied. And that's exactly how they're calling this game. Listen, they're now thinking we have to continue to develop as a program. They're not playing to try to get this game back to level.
Texas shifts late again. Nobody jumps offside this time, but Armstrong pitches it back, and with the pursuit as the flag comes down. That's a good job of putting the head down and hustling McElroy will make the tackle. It's going to be a gain of about 7 yards.
Holding. 84 on the offense. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Still second down.
Taylor Wardlaw, who was out of Grapevine, Texas, called for the hold. So erase what would have been a very nice 7-yard run.
And these are the things that Todd Graham and his staff are going to go back and work very hard on. This is exactly what they're going to look for. Right here on the outside. That's just that you cannot turn the defender. When you turn his shoulders, he's working there against Brian Robinson, one of the best defensive ends in the country, and just got his hands to the outside and turned it. But those are the little things Rice will need to work on.
Here goes Armstrong. They throw the quick screen, and look at the speed of the Texas defense. Crowder, the first man to get there. And that right there is textbook.
Well, you knew Gene Chizik was going to have his defense ready to play in this one. Very upset about what happened against Ohio State. Guys out of position. Safety's not getting over the top in coverage on the touchdown to end the half. Again, the safety was late getting over there. And he's not in a good mood this week at practice.
Under 5 minutes to play, third quarter. Texas 45 and Rice nothing. Armstrong got man coverage, and the ball was caught. That's a great job by Jarrett Dillard to go up and take it away from the quarterback over on that side, who was Terrell Brown.
Well, we were talking earlier about ball skills. And what a coach means by that is when the ball is in the air, they have the ability to go catch it with their hands. Dillard's already trying to show off for the NFL scouts.
Inbounds on that
toe tapping over there. But what a
fourth down. They need to take it to the 36-yard line as they swing it out to Quentin Smith. Going to be hit, lunges forward, and is going to be well short of the first down. And for those of you who follow Rice, you probably have been saying that's not Quentin Smith. He had to change jerseys at halftime. He's wearing 47 rather than 44. And Linda Cohn, let's check back with you. Recovery by that safety. Wow, he came a long way. Jevin Sneed into the ball game at quarterback for Texas as they scrimmage for their own 42. And Henry Melton.
Right at the snap. 73 on the offense. False start. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
Henry Melton checks in at tailback. Great story here. They cannot make up their mind. They want to play him on defense. They want to play him on offense. He wants to play on offense. 270 pounds he went.
Colt McCoy, they came out running the ball, and Mack Brown told Dr. Bunch before the game that they were going to have to do some things to protect this young man. And what they decided to do was run the ball early, and I think they took the sting out of that Rice defensive front.
Here's Big Melton, and he takes it off the right side. I said 270 pounds and leaves a lot of folks in his wake. That's 8 yards on a play that probably should have made about a couple, and that's Courtney Gordon, who is there to make the defensive stop.
I was shocked the other day when we out at practice looking at Henry Melton. He does not look 270 pounds.
No,
he carries his weight very well.
Most big people take a couple of steps to have a good start. His first step is very quick, but even for a small guy, let alone for a large guy. They're going to take it down to the 48-yard line of Rice to pick up the first down, and I think we're going to see Henry Melton left, Henry Melton right. That's what it was right there. No gain on that play, so it'll be third and a long situation. Gordon again.
They're trying to Melton the clock. They want to keep that thing running.
Clock is about to go under 3 minutes to play in this third quarter.
And here comes all the starch white jerseys. Excuse me, bleach white. They might be starched too.
Shipley in the ball game at wide receiver, and he is the man to the bottom of your screen, number 8. That's just out of your picture. Sneed from the shotgun.
Well, this is getting sloppy, Ron. Both of these coaches need to get their guys focused in.
5-yard penalty. Still third down.
That's something with young quarterbacks. A lot of stuff going on. I know Stephenville High School is a big program and they work very hard at stuff, but he's got to, on the big stage, in a professional stadium, find where the 25-second clock is, manage the game. That's the #1 key for a quarterback. And really, why Colt McCoy ended up winning the job is because he was more ready to manage the game.
Well, that's 13 penalties against the Longhorns. Well, Benaya comes into the ball game, and there's movement again, this time on the left side. 74. It's going to be Ulatowski.
Ball start. 71 on the offense.
Well, 74 moved as well, so take your pick. Chris Hall is the man they're going to call it on. 15th penalty.
Do you know who the most upset is on the field for Texas when guys start doing that? It's the first stringers. Because Mac may turn around and say, hey, stuttered, send line, you guys get back in there. I can't watch this anymore.
You know, we got it officially here. Of the 15 penalties, 7 are false starts. So on 3rd down, Snead throws the screen back into the boundary. That is a nice defensive play as the tackle is made just as soon as the catch was made by Brian Raines, the sophomore out of Willow Ridge High School, which is Missouri City, just south of Houston.
And this is exactly the type of player that they're going to have to recruit here at Rice to have a chance. Brian, a very good player, leads the country in solo tackles, but an incredibly bright guy, was National Honor Society president of his senior class. These are the types of young men that Todd Graham and his staff are going to go have to load up on if they want to compete in the Conference USA.
These two kids both are from Missouri City. Obadiah, who was the receiver on that play, he played at Straight Jesuit in Missouri City. Beautiful kick, high hanging spot. Back to the 15-yard line, and again, the coverage is virtually perfect, and it's made again by Michael Griffin. 42 in the punt, -3 return. So Clemson 6-2 and what is a pretty good pitcher's duel right now. Rice back on offense, this time for the 15. Armstrong from the shotgun. Quick out pass, and it goes to Dillard. Now they have really gotten him into action. Dillard out over the 25 to the 30. Just what Ed was talking about. They wanted to make sure that they got their best players and get the ball in their hands. And Dillard now has become a real workhorse on offense. 16 yards on that play.
And Mike Falco, the inside receiver, senior, went out there and made a really nice cut block to spring Dillard.
45 seconds left, 3rd quarter. Quick pass. There he is again. Dillard, and a hit immediately at the 40-yard line. Aaron Ross this time rides him down. Dillard gets up and pats him on the headgear.
Remember we saw Jermichael Finley, the tight end from Texas, earlier in the game, run down on the 2-yard line when he slid to catch a ball he should have caught with his hands. He should be studying this guy. Every receiver coach will tell you, if you catch the ball out in front of you with your hands, you can make people miss before they get there because your feet don't have to stop to make the catch. He's got wonderful hands.
Dillard, 6 catches for 67 yards. And that is the end of the 3rd quarter. So as we take a timeout, we head to the final 15 minutes of play. The Texas Longhorns have been making a statement here tonight in the 3rd quarter. The Rice Owls, a nicer job on defense. Right now, shutout, 45-0 Longhorns. So back here at Reliant Stadium in the Bayou City, Houston, Texas. Rice on offense as we open this 4th quarter, looking for their first points of the night. And under center, Armstrong turns and gives it off to his running back, Quentin Smith. Tim Crowder is right there. And the big senior out of John Tyler High School has really had himself a good ball game. Brian Robinson also helping out in the play. He's a senior on the other side out of Splendora.
You got a sense that Crowder was a guy that Gene Chizik wasn't real happy with last week. An all Big 12 performer last year. Didn't make a whole lot of noise against Ohio State. I think he's trying to make amends against Rice.
I think Gene also was trying to send a message. His linebackers didn't have nearly as many plays as he thought they should have. Pass is complete. Dillard again. And not only a first down, about 7 or 8 yards more. Let me tell you something. This guy can play. Now, well, he's a good player.
Yeah, he was the first guy flagged down over there by the tackle, but he was the first guy that Mac Brown mentioned. The young man that they looked at to recruit.
31 on the defense. It's a 15-yard penalty, added to the end of the run, first down.
Aaron Ross, who played high school football with Tim Crowder out at John Tyler High School.
And it's not like Dillard has had a lot of room to catch these balls, Ron.
No.
And he's catching them from another wide receiver, Joel Armstrong. Although Armstrong played quarterback last year, that was in a option offense under Ken Hatfield. So
he's got 80 yards on 7 pass receptions tonight. Armstrong's going to keep it, and he'll go for short yardage, a couple. And Dr. Jerry Punch back down on the sideline. What do you got for us, Coach?
Hey, Ron, Rice head coach Todd Graham is trying to build for the future by reconnecting with the past. How's he doing that? Well, he's inviting previous Letterman back. In the opening game of the year, they had 106 come back. And here's what happened before tonight's game. They bring the Letterman in. They stand in front of their old lockers in front of the player who wears the same jersey number. See, that's Marcus Rucker talking to Randy Lee, who's a linebacker here back in 1972. They try to get these players inspired and remember him. There is some history here of Rice with winning football teams in the past.
No question about that. Jess
Ball
Neely.
start, 50 on the offense, 5-yard penalty, still second down.
Jess Neely had himself a bunch of good football teams. King Hill, who played with the Eagles, was a quarterback here who played extremely well. Dr. Frank Ryan of the Cleveland Browns went on to play extremely well. He had numbers and numbers of players. The biggest thing that happened, though, is Rice Stadium. Jess Neely said, I need a stadium, and I need it quickly. Rice Stadium was built in less than 12 months, guys. They had to work 24 hours a day at times to get that done. And it's a gorgeous structure to this day. That pass, incomplete. And London. Well, Louisville is no secret. And if you go to play them or they come to your place, don't think they're a secret because they are really good. That pass is off the mark right there.
That'll be interesting to see. Brian Brom apparently injured his throwing hand in that ball game. They already lost Michael Bush. Were able to replace him with 2 youngsters with a lot of speed, but that whole offense circles around Brom. So let's hope for the sake of Louisville, and you always want teams to have good players. So for the sake of college football, that Brian Brom's able to fight off that hand injury.
And that Auburn LSU game, that's just an old-fashioned throwback kind of football game.
We knew that was going to come.
I'm telling you.
We saw both of those teams early in the year, and boy, those defenses can sure play.
Very high coverage kick goes about 8 yards deep in the end zone. Texas will get it back at the 20-yard line. So we're going to take a timeout. 12:44 remaining in our ball game. The Longhorns send in some fresh white shirts. All right, back to live action. Obanaya gets the handoff. No, quarterback keeps it, and that's Kevin Snead. Great fake because he took us totally out of the play, and he's going to have a gain of close to 19 yards on it. Brandon King, sophomore out of Moss Point, Mississippi, on the stop for the Owls.
Well, everybody's so used to this play now in college football. The read zone play where the quarterback reads the backside defensive end. If he crashes down to stop the run, he goes with it. Kevin Snead's been running this pretty much his whole life.
Obanaya did a good job carrying out the fake as well.
I think he thought he might have been getting the ball.
Well, he took a couple of defensive players and an announcer out there with him.
Ball start, 52 on the offense.
What was it, 16 or 17, Biggie?
First down.
16 Texas penalties. Okay, it's time for you to vote. Who do you think should get the MVP for tonight? Text the letter that corresponds to your player selection. Send your vote for either A, B, C, or D now to the number 43776 from your cell phone. And we'll tell you who won later in the game. Each vote costs 99 cents, plus standard messaging rates may apply.
I'm sending for D. Take it,
Snead off the left side, going to hold on to it, and he'll take it across the 40 to out around the 41-yard line. You're going for who?
Dillard. Going outside the box on this one. I know that Texas is, but he's been the one shining player for Rice, and he's really impressed me, Ron. He really has. This young man can play. He can play at any program that we've seen with those hands and his ability to make catches in traffic.
And the thing that his coaches are saying, even more so after tonight, got to have more like him. That's Obadiah. To turn it up to the 45-yard line. It'll be third down. They'll need about 4.
And they'll get more guys like that. They really will. You know, Todd Graham is a relentless recruiter. Paul Randolph, his defensive coordinator, told him no 3 times. He was at Alabama, very comfortable as a defensive end coach there under Joe Kynes. Got him to come, and he's a relentless recruiter, and he got Major Applewhite with his stature in the state of Texas. These guys will do fine. They'll get a lot of talent to come to Rice.
There's Paul right there. His son came over here as well. He was on this Rice football team. Snead gets it away. Strong arm right into the arms of a defender as a flag is down, and it's Brandon King who makes the interception.
Well, Greg Davis told us the reason that Colt McCoy ended up winning the job was that Snead, from the waist down, needed work. He just was completely out of sync. He went to do a ball fake. There was nobody there, and he never got his feet back set before he threw that ball.
Holding 15 on the defense.
Wow.
Prior to the pass, the 15, it's a 10-yard penalty, automatic first down.
So erase the interception. Holding called against the young man who made the pick, Brandon King.
But Snead was just never set on this play. He went to do a handoff. There's nobody there. He's got pressure coming. And that's a bad route. Yeah, well, it's hard to tell, but that just looked like an awful route on the outside. Of course, you got a bunch of young guys. That's George Walker out there who doesn't play very much. Looked like he should have brought that more in and continued up the field. So hard to blame Snead on that one.
Myron Hardy in the ball game at the wide receiver. And I think we just got a new record as far as
Ball start, 16 on the offense.
Yeah.
5-yard penalty, still first down.
That's a new record, isn't it, Big E? There we go. 17 penalties tonight, ties the school record. That's a very inauspicious record. One that you're not excited about. Henry Melton comes back in the ball game at tailback.
Well, it's safe to say that Texas gets outsmarted by Rice when they play them.
Could be on this trip.
They're not getting out physical. So.
Well, the fake by Snead, he's going to carry, puts it up, down, and goes inside the 40-yard line. And that's down. She makes the tackle after a gain of 12. Boy, it looks as though that he may have injured either a hand or the lower part of that left arm. He's looking toward the bench. Doesn't want to come out. The coaches have not seen that he's hurt, so he's going to stay in there.
Well, and in the 3-3-5, you only have one safety. And if Downs can't make a tackle, it's 6 points if it breaks through.
So Snead on second down. Going to keep it again. And he will have the first down as he takes it in the vicinity of the 31-yard line. Linda Cone here. Wouldn't be surprised if it stayed relatively low and not a high-scoring affair as well. Two good offenses, but some very good defenses as well. As Auburn won 7-3. Henry Melton gets the ball, and he'll go for short yardage, 3, maybe 4 yards. Courtney Gordon making the tackle. Courtney, particularly in the second half, has been extremely active. Done a good job. Under 9 minutes to play.
Rice on defense does something very interesting. Todd Graham, working at West Virginia, took this idea from Rich Rodriguez, who didn't call offensive plays sometimes until the defense got in their set. And Todd Graham is experimenting with a system where they don't call defenses until the offense is set, because he doesn't want to find himself in a bad coverage. If he sees trips to one side and he doesn't have it, he can change the defense. And they have smart enough guys at Rice to be able to execute that plan.
Obadiah was the ball carrier and stopped at the 30-yard line. It's going to be third down, and they'll need to take it down to the 22.
And if you watch, all of the Rice defenders are looking towards the sideline. They have not called the defense yet. Everyone's still looking towards the sideline, and as soon as Texas comes out, they'll hold up a card to tell them what the coverage is.
No timeout going to be called as the 25-second clock was running down rapidly. And we'll take a timeout. When we come back, Texas looking for a third down and long. You're back, Reliant Stadium in Houston, Texas. They have left the roof closed today And there was they were expecting rain, but I mean, actually we can't see outside, but I don't think it ever came. It has been cooler on the kids, I can tell you that. Snead, shovel pass, Obanaya, 25-20, going to have the first down, still on his feet, turns the corner, and a flag has come down with a block that was thrown inside the 10-yard line.
Did they get Ulatowski down the field? 6'8", 305 freshman was way downfield blocking. And he got his hands outside. Obanaya did a really nice job putting his hand down.
He showed great balance.
Yeah,
he
balance
really did.
was excellent.
Holding against Texas. And you see the teammates on the far sideline saying, hey, you made a great run. You can't help the penalty.
You know, Mack Brown very rarely yells at his players. I think he's going to be really upset.
23 on the offense. The result of the play is a first down.
That's Jamie Carvajal who gets called out there.
Yeah, actually, I think Myron Hardy.
Yeah, that's who it was.
Yeah,
it was
the wide receiver.
Yep.
Yeah, see him blocking right there. Sendejo made the play. So, with the penalty, new line of scrimmage is with a first down at the 21. Snead going to keep it again wide open. Hit by the umpire, and the tackle is made.
Rich McMahon.
And the crowd is booing Mr. McMahon.
Yeah, but listen, there's nobody between the goal line and the quarterback besides the umpire. You have to miss him, not the other way around. And all the Texas fans, that was good.
Give him an assist.
McMahon just listen, he stands where he stands. He tries to get out of the way. He's got to see that and make an adjustment for it.
That may become a regular thing. He runs that well. He's going to hold on to it again, and it's going to be tackled around the 5-yard line.
Well, it's worth mentioning that Stephenville High School, where Jevin played, runs this exact offense. And that is a play, Ron, not all quarterbacks can run it. You don't have to be super fast. Elusiveness helps when you run that read zone. But it's a feel thing. Sometimes you just have to keep it when it feels like you should, and it appears that Snead has that feel to be able to run that play. And it was such a money play when Vince Young was here. They'd like to keep it in the offense.
This is the 11th play of this current drive. Clock is under 7 minutes. Snead this time will hand it off to the big fella Melton. Nothing to the right, going to go to the left. He's got blockers in front, and Melton will score. Most 270-pound guys can't even come close to reversing their field. And he did right there, took it all the way back to the left and scored.
And Brett Valdez came back and did a nice job of finishing the play. Valdez was at left tackle, sees Melton coming, turns around, and picks off the last man who would have had a chance. Nice job not giving up on the play.
Well, you can see as well as Henry runs why the defensive coaches continue to look at Mack Brown and say, boy, we sure would love to have him at defensive end.
Well, now here's where it gets a little confusing because you've got so many 2s and 3s in the game. And usually when you go through your substitution for
here he comes back. Yeah, he left, and now here he comes back.
He's got to play the wing. And this is where it gets confusing in a game like this because you've got a mix of your second and third string in, and typically you only go through the first 2 units on your kicking game. But Mack's not going to be happy with a lot of this stuff, Ron. There's a lot of things that, especially with these younger players. At Texas, they have built so much depth because of the great recruiting. These young men are expected to hold up their end of the bargain.
Well, the Texas Mack Brown took the Longhorns, who had suffered through 6 non-winning seasons, to the 2005 National Championship. That extra point is good. And as we take a break, coming up next, we're going to look back at Mack Brown and his coaching legacy and how they won it in 2005. That's coming up next. 52-0 our score is the 8th-ranked Texas Longhorns leading the Rice Owls at the 6:36 mark. We talked about Mack Brown and his tenure. You look at the last 10 seasons, 104 wins in those 10 years. Bobby Bowden at 102, Philip Fulmer 96, and Coach Carr at Michigan 96, and actually 97 after what happened today.
You know, and last year I got a chance to sit down with Coach Brown, and he just seemed like a little bit of a different coach. He seemed more relaxed, and I think Vince Young had an effect on him, but he just feels like he's gotten more comfortable in his position, and he's coaching more loose and free, and it shows up with his team.
Balco on the return. He's going to take it out to the 22. Dr. Jerry Punch, let's go down to you on the sideline.
Well, Ron Rice's new offensive coordinator, Major Applewhite, was known for his heroics and accuracy as a passer when he was a player. And there's no better evidence of that than his last game in a Longhorn uniform, December 28, 2001 at the Holiday Bowl. It was the biggest comeback in Longhorn history. The 9th-ranked Longhorns overcame a 19-point third-quarter deficit. Applewhite set records for the passing, 473 yards, 4 touchdowns. They outscored the Huskies 30-7 in the final quarter for a 47-43 win. He was the offensive MVP in that game, his final game in a Longhorn uniform.
Well, there are a lot of people that will never forget that performance that come from behind effort.
I won't, because I'm a Husky.
Ball start.
Thanks, Major.
68
Appreciate
on the
that.
offense. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
But that's why he will do so well in this state. There's not one person who follows football in the state, which is pretty much all of them, who don't remember fondly. I mean, even A&M fans had to have respect for Major Applewhite. They may not have liked him, but they had to have respect for him.
You know, to me, way back when he first came in from New Orleans to the Texas campus, Archie Manning told me, we were up at Oxford doing a ball game, and he said Major had started coming to their quarterback game. And he said, yeah, I can tell you, one of these days he's going to make a really good football coach. He's just a natural. Knows the game and loves it. Well, there's Dillard again on the receiving end of that pass.
And that's where Major got his coaching start, was at the Manning camp. After going there as a kid, after his second year at Texas in the summer of '98, he went to the Manning camp and coached. And he said, I kind of got the bug there because there was this young 14-year-old kid who came in who could barely hold the ball, and by the end of the camp I had him taking 3-step drops and hitting slants. It really was a fulfilling experience, and that's where the bug started for him to be a coach.
You know, Archie said also from day one when he came in, he knew who every kid was, how they threw, who was better, who was not. And he said, you know, it was interesting. The kids really liked him as well. Armstrong rolls the pocket deep downfield, and this ball is caught at the 39 by Fentress, the young man out of South Lake Carroll that we talked about back in the first half, and it's good for 39 yards. Ryan Palmer had the cover, a sophomore out of Mesquite.
Nice throw by Armstrong. Got plenty of arm strength on the run. They had to work very hard on his mechanics, and Fentress goes up and shields himself from the cornerback as the safety's closing in and makes a nice grab.
Look at Fentress, a great job of shielding himself, turning his body so that he is protected, and made the catch. Longest gainer of the night by Rice. Armstrong, here comes pressure, gets a block, and that ball is thrown complete. That's Balco out of the flat inside the 30, and he's going to have another first down to around the 28.
You know, Major Applewhite said to Coach Graham, Coach, I'm not sure if I'm ready to be an offensive coordinator. And Todd Graham got his first defensive coordinator job at 26 years old. He played at East Central in Oklahoma. Went back, was coaching, got the defensive coordinator job, didn't know if he was ready. And he said, no, Major, you're ready. We'll work together. We'll make this thing work. So he talked him into taking the job.
There's Balco again. He's wide open on the play as it's going to be a first down. Linda Combs, I would imagine, over the Alamo Dome for the Aggies to get to see their ball club, and a lot of people who are in the military in the San Antonio area who will come and see Army play. Balco, the intended receiver, and that was well overthrown.
I got to do the ball game last year, Texas A&M, when McGee got his first start, and he's going to be a good one. Dennis Franchione and his staff have got themselves a very good quarterback they can build around.
I'll tell you something, I am both surprised and also impressed by the fact that TCU held Texas Tech with no touchdowns.
Unreal.
By the way, this is the first time that Rice has been inside the 20 in this ball game. And you know they don't want that goose egg to stay up there. 52-0. They're down now. Armstrong looks to the right, throws it complete, and that's Fentress again. And with single coverage, they're probably just going to keep going out there. He's about the 6.5-yard line as Ryan Palmer made the tackle.
And you start to get a sense of what Rice will be able to do offensively if they can just get some protection, Ron. You know, earlier in the game, Armstrong just had white jerseys draped all over him. And starting to go towards conference play for Rice, they might be able to move the ball pretty well, put some points on the board against some of the opponents they're going to see down the road.
I think they will. I think they will. This ball club is just going to get better and better. Into the end zone. Complete touchdown, Jarek Dillard.
Well, I know they're going against the 2s and the 3s for Texas. A lot of very white jerseys out there, but this is a nice throw.
Palmer was the man trying to cover, but as we have said several times in this ball game, that Dillard is going to cause a lot of people headaches, and he has proven it tonight as Spangmeyer comes on with the extra point, and he knocks it home. So Rice is on the scoreboard. It's 52-7 at the 3:15 mark.
New career high. He had a career high in yardage with 102 last week against UCLA. And take nothing away from these numbers. A lot of those numbers, Ron, were done against the first unit Longhorn defense.
Well, don't forget Monday Night Football on ESPN at 8:30. Yeah, string music there from the Mob as the Rice Owls have gotten on the scoreboard, 52-7. It's been a nice late afternoon and early evening here in Houston. Dr. Punch, why didn't you tell me that they finally had opened the roof? We can't see it from here, but it must have been lovely, son.
Yeah, gorgeous night here in Houston. They had it closed early before the game when you and I were down here. They opened it up, and it has been a beautiful night here, except for the Rice fans who have hung around trying to watch this team as they're rebuilding here under Todd Graham.
Here's Juiced with the kickoff. Only his second kick. He kicked off to begin the ball game tonight. And this is Selvin Young on the return. And look out. Big opening for Selvin. He's going to take it back to the 45-yard line. And Juiced, who kicked it off, makes the tackle after a 40-yard kickoff return. London Call. Thanks so much. We got a new quarterback in this one, Matthew McCoy. He's a senior out of Dallas, 6'3", 200 pounds. We probably will see him the last 3 minutes of this ball game. And McCoy hands it off to Big Henry Melton. 5 yards, 6 and 7. He'll just take the pile with him. Downs is over there to make the tackle. Downs, one of the real leaders on this ball club, and we've seen him make some pretty big plays in this evening's ball game. Senior out of Garland, Rowlett High School.
Well, they knew they needed to get some time for Jevin Sneed tonight, and they got him some quality time. It's a little difficult, though. You know, Colt McCoy gets to go with the big guys, the first-string unit, and Jevin has to go with the second-string some. Bunch of guys jumping off sides and running routes in the wrong direction or not breaking them off when he should. So sometimes it's hard to evaluate a young quarterback if he's not with the front-line players all around him.
Yep. Good to see those young quarterbacks going over and paying their gratitude to people who have been helping them up front and as wide receivers. As you see Matthew McCoy on the keeper. He's tackled by Garman. We are now under 2 minutes left in this one. And it's obvious that the Texas Longhorns are going to come away from here with their second victory of the season. And everybody wondered if they might have a hiccup or a little hangover after the Ohio State game, and I think the opening 2 series of the night when they didn't throw the ball either in the first 2 series, did
well, that's one way to send a message. You knew Gene Chizik was going to send a message to the defense, but Greg Davis just lined them up and let his big guys go, and that's how you kind of avoid that. Don't try to get too pretty. If you've got guys like Young and Charles and a big offensive line, just pound it.
And that ball has been taken away and is taken by Chad Price, who goes up the far sideline and is going to be pushed out of bounds at the 38-yard line. So obviously Melton gave up the football.
McCoy never got the snap.
Nope.
Yeah, he never got the snap. Again, you've got backups in there. That looked like Dallas Griffin at center. Never got the ball up. McCoy never got it. Now, for Rice with 3 timeouts, they should try to play this like we need a touchdown to win. You need to work on these types of things because you may need it later in conference play. So send out your first unit and let them try to score.
So Melton never got the ball, and Matthew McCoy is the man who just couldn't gather it. And here come flags. Robbie Heels in the ball game, a junior out of Pearland, at left guard. He's the man who moved.
Still first down.
So first down at 15. Armstrong, boy, big pressure on him, and he is going to be sacked. So quickly, who did you select for tonight's MVP? Here are the results. And our congratulations to our MVP, Colt McCoy, 48% of the balloting. And we thank everybody for voting. Charles with 32%, Selvin Young 15%, and Dillard with 5%. And this one is going to go in the record books as a big Texas win. McCoy's number 7 of 8, 123 yards and 2 touchdowns. So the final score, number 8 ranked Texas 52 and Rice 7. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. Stay with ESPN2 for the College Football Scoreboard Show. Now, along with Ed Cunningham and Jerry Punch, I'm Ron Franklin and our entire ESPN crew. Right now, let's take you out to Texas A&M and Army at the Alamo Dome in San Antonio.